Investors Playbook Live. As always, you have your co-host Deshaun and Cornell, and as always, we've had another exciting week in the stock market. Most notable headline, of course, we have to talk about it, is Mr. Jerome Powell himself on Tuesday cutting rates. Finally, for the first time this year, rate cuts from 4.25, 5.5 to 4.0, 4.25. There was a rate cut of 0.25%. So let's dive into that immediately. Cornell, what are your thoughts, man?
Uh, I have mixed feelings about it, to be honest. I think that this could be good for companies, as we see as the S&P 500 reached an all-time high again, yet again for the year. I know that this has been a wild ride, and a lot of people have been saying this is right now is the time to be investing. Not only because AI is running rampant, and as they advance, these companies are making more and more money, and they say this is the next best thing like since the internet came about, because like we've seen what AI came from, and I know we've been talking about this a lot on our page, but it's something that everybody should be taking part in, just because of the opportunity. But
Yep.
yeah, so with that, of course, it's been a good time to invest. This is only helping companies make more money because when interest rates are cut, companies can borrow money at a lower rate. So they can cease layoffs, they can hire more staff in order to make more money. Like there's just a lot more that they can do. When you can borrow money at a lower rate, you can make money faster. Also, it supports growth of families. Like now we're able to buy like homes and cars for lower rates. If we had a higher rate when it came to a house, we could refinance if it makes sense to you. You know, that might not make sense for everybody, but we can refinance and we can get a lower rate. This boosts the confidence of the stock market. So when we see these things, the stock market tends to rally, right? And yeah, and then not only that, he promised more rate cuts in the near future.
Yep.
So there's a lot of good things that can come from this. Yeah, but what do you think like on the positive side, man?
Yeah, I definitely want to dive into how the rate cuts will affect, or could I say could affect us as regular investors, and how it could affect the economy as a whole. But I first want to tag on why rate cuts are even a proposal, right? Like, why are people wanting Jerome Powell to do a rate cut? Why was Trump gunning for him to do a rate cut so much? Like, what is the purpose of it, right? And really, what's been happening is the job market has been slowing down. It has been we have seen that inflation has been cooling off, job market has been slowing down, and it essentially was about to become a point where, because rates were too high, less business was growing, less hiring was happening, and it was just kind of choking the market a little bit. People were saying money is too expensive, we can't borrow money, we can't explore, we can't expand, we can't hire more people. So that is the reason why a lot of times the rate cut happens in the first place. You know what I mean? So it did that rate cut from 4.25, 4.5, rate cut of 2.5%, 0.25%. And with that will come potentially positive change, right? As long as inflation stays where it needs to be, what we're going to see is an increase in market and investor confidence, which we've seen in the past. Normally, when there is a rate cut, a year where there's a rate cut, the following 12 months, you're going to see like a 14% increase in things like the S&P 500. And I think that that's what they're hoping for again this year. And then, like Cornell mentioned, if we are doing a federal rate cut, you're going to have things like real estate become easier accessible. Everyone's been talking about how homes are way too expensive. People are actually recommending to not buy homes right now. Like, we're starting to see that a lot. Don't buy a home, it's too expensive, stay renting. Why do you want to pay this much percent for a home? And the fact is just homes are one of those things that have increased in value exponentially. It's not like going to the store and saying, oh, milk was $2, now it's 4, 5. we're talking homes that were 100,000, 200, now $800,000. So things were out of reach for people. You tack on a high interest rate with that, people are going to be unable to buy homes, and they're not going to sell their homes either. They're going to just hold on to them. So I think that a rate cut could bring a lot of positive sentiment. It could bring confidence. Um, yeah, and it could get people spending money again and feeling good about spending money, right? So, yeah, I imagine that we are going to potentially see some real money moving in the next 12 months. And like you said, if Powell does decide, or if the Fed does decide to cut rates again this year, you're going to see more and more positive sentiment. The market is already at an all-time high. So what are we thinking is going to happen when another rate cut happens, right? Normally you have that sell the market news whenever that news is dropped. That didn't necessarily happen this time. The market jumped, no, I wouldn't say jumped, but the market moved up a little bit slightly. But it did not do what it typically does, which is go the opposite way. So and I gotta say, appreciate everybody for joining. Appreciate you all for being on this call, on this live. Right now, we are talking about Powell and the Fed's decision to cut rates by 0.25%. If you are invested in the stock market, man, hopefully you've been keeping an eye on your investments. Make sure that you are always positioning yourself to take advantage of this news, right? Where rate cuts happening, we typically see an increase in the stock market. So check your portfolio. Make sure that you're still invested in things that are going to grow. Um, yeah, just make sure that you do that rebalancing if needed. And if you're in stocks that are gonna get positively affected, either double down or just hold steady and watch your money grow. So yeah, man. What else, Cornell? What are some things that you recommend when it comes to uh rate cuts and then potentially more rate cuts before the end of the year?
So what I would be careful about is just dumping a lot of money into the stock market. Cause like one thing that people see, especially when people are seeing all these gains, because everybody's getting happy, the people that are already invested, they're like, man, the stock market's killing it. I'm making more money than I've ever made before. Especially this year. This has been a crazy year. It's like since
Mhm.
April, like if you've been investing since April, man, you're up. Uh, but this when this happens, people that are just now coming into the stock market off of the hype, they tend to throw a lot of money in because they think they're going to have the same success that someone that has already been invested in the market. Like they think that they'll have the same success. But markets always have a pullback. Okay, so when we reach these higher highs, we have to expect a pullback. So these new investors are coming in at the top of the market, then they get this pullback and they don't have the profit from the gains to protect them. So now they're losing their principal, the initial money that they put in. And then this I see this all the time. They do this and they get discouraged from investing. They pull all their money out, they take their losses, and then now they're discouraged from investing.
Yeah.
So my thing is, if I'm a new investor coming into the stock market, what I would do, I would find that small amount, like from each check that you can invest and you don't need. Like if you were to lose that money, it wouldn't hurt you. I would find that number for you. Of course, for everybody is going to be different because I always get people saying, "Hey, how much should I invest?" It's impossible for me to tell you how much you should invest because I don't know your pockets. Everybody's pockets are different. One person may only have $10 they can invest every 2 weeks, while another person might have 1,000 that they can invest every 2 weeks. So for you, you have to find your magic number and put that money in there bi-weekly or whenever you get paid. If you get paid weekly, cool. If you get paid daily, put it in. Whenever you get paid, make sure that you're putting something toward investing. So I would do that. And then you want to do that until you see a pullback. When you see a pullback, that's when you get more aggressive.
Mhm.
Okay. That's when you're putting more money into the market because you're getting the stocks at a discount. So this is the best time to take advantage of market declines. What about you, man? How would you
No,
handle it?
I would agree with you completely. This is not a moment where you dump all of your money into the market because you think that there is just an overwhelming amount of positivity that's going to happen and the market is going to keep going. Let's look at where the market is at now, right? And think about, like, I mean, you can even compare it to something like, I mean, gravity. What comes up must come down, right? And to try and catch I don't want to say a speeding train, right? Um, let's just wait for the train to slow down a bit before you definitively jump on, right? If you're dollar cost averaging, then that's fine. Continue to dollar cost average, but to try and use this as a reason to overexpose yourself. There's no need to do that. No need to overexpose yourself by putting a lot of money based off this news that happened on Tuesday. Yes, it could be positive news, but the key word there is could be, right? Just because something happened in the past or it moved a certain way does not mean that it will move the same way now, right? Okay, the history, what they say, history doesn't always repeat itself, but it rhymes. So there's a chance that it could move in the same direction that it has, but it does not mean that it will. So I would agree with you completely, Cornell. Just carefully place your chips in the right spot. If you are dollar cost averaging, like I said, I think that's fine. But I would not say to bet all on Tuesday's news and even future news, because it could easily go the other way, just as easily go the other way. So yeah, definitely want to be careful with your risk tolerance, right? Don't think of this as like a gamble. You have to stay strategic when it comes to investing in the stock market.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know that before, Trump kind of pushed Powell to doing this. I know a lot of people were thinking that this might be too early for us to be cutting rates
Hmm.
because prices are still high. And when you lower the interest rate, more people are borrowing money, more money is being circulated. And this could potentially increase inflation. So this could cause prices for, everyday goods and things of that nature to increase even faster.
Yeah.
And this is why Jerome Powell was so hesitant in dropping the rates up until now.
Yeah, exactly. He did not want to reignite inflation by lowering interest rates, therefore increasing the price of certain things because of the more access to money. So hopefully this decision was timely and we don't
Mhm.
see a heavy increase in inflation and instead it works out as it should. A decrease in interest rate allow more movement within the markets, within the economy, and it starts to provide exactly what jobs are needing: opportunity to explore, opportunity to hire, instead of kind of where it's at now where things are in a standstill. So
Right.
0.25%, I think that's like, can they decrease it lower than that? Like the lowest they could do is a quarter, right? I've never seen.
I've seen them go down by 50 basis points. I know in my lifetime, and since I've been watching the market, I think 0.50 has been the highest I've seen.
Yeah, yeah, I've never seen it more than 0.50, and the lowest I've seen is 0.25.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
okay,
I don't know. I'm pretty sure they can do whatever they want.
for sure.
But that's all I've
You're
seen.
not lying. You are not lying, man. Yeah.
But that wasn't the only significant thing that happened last week,
Hmm.
man.
Hmm.
So I know another like huge thing that kind of just like took me by surprise because I thought that Intel was a dying company, to be honest. But Nvidia invested a significant amount of money into Intel common stock. What are your thoughts about that?
I think that was a very strategic move. Um, Nvidia, we know, is the big dog when it comes to chip making. They're also starting to become the big dog when it comes to AI because of the amount of energy and the chips that are needed in order to create AI. So I imagine Nvidia's $5 billion Intel stock purchase was a strategic move that will allow Nvidia to get into Intel's markets. It will allow Nvidia to get into the suppliers that Intel has that were not supplying Nvidia due to contracts and things like that. So I think that this partnership is going to benefit both. We know that Intel was bleeding money for years. Well, I don't know about for years, but they haven't been doing as well as Nvidia. So Nvidia is definitely giving them a boost of confidence, a boost in their finances. Um, and then what Nvidia is getting is their market, getting their customers, getting their suppliers. So I definitely see a win-win on both sides. And of course, I think Intel is going to what it's already seen it, right? The stock went from um what did it jump from? 20. I was just looking at it. It went up to almost $31, right? Intel, just in the past week, it was at $24.94. After the announcement was made, it literally jumped up to $31.76. That happened overnight. So people are definitely seeing that confidence when they see Nvidia and Intel partnering together. That's like, yeah, they people definitely felt that that was a confidence booster for Intel. The question is it going to continue though, right? Is Intel going to continue seeing this growth, or was this just a burst based on news? What happens next? What about you?
Honestly, man, when you look into it and see what Intel has to offer, it makes sense, man. And this could be a game changer for Nvidia. To be honest, so like you said, it is a win-win because they still say that Intel owns some of the largest semiconductor factories in the world,
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
So that alone is big, and also they're trying to position themselves to be an alternative to Taiwan Semiconductor,
Yeah.
which is also huge. That puts the U.S. in the game when it comes to semiconductors because really this is a race that we can't lose, bro. And I think that this puts us at an advantage, if anything. So this is a major play. And I don't know. Like I know with them buying the common stock, I know that now they have like a lot of say so on the choices, the decisions that Intel makes. So man, this could be a big win for AI in general and just pushing that whole project forward for everybody, the world, not just the
Yeah.
US. Um, but man, I just like to see how if Intel's not bought out, I just like to see how their profit margins would turn around because I'm seeing them. They're losing like for every $100 they make, they're losing like $35. They have negative 35% profit margins, which
Yeah.
is insane. They're a failing business right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's kind of what people don't peel back and see. They see Intel on their computers, they see the sticker on like their laptops and things like that, and they just assume that these companies are doing well. But when you really look at the actual finances of these companies, they're not always doing so great, right? And we're talking not just not doing great for the past month, like over the past year and some change, Intel has not been doing that well for as a chip making company, right? Part of it could be that Nvidia was taking a lot of their customers, a lot of screen time. People were just starting to pay a lot more attention to Nvidia, um, and I think at one point Intel even stated we aren't like we're behind. Like the CEO mentioned, we are kind of behind in this race to keep it a buck. That's pretty much what he said. He was like, "Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna do. We got to figure it out. But right now, we are behind in this race." I think something else that will help Nvidia is the the administration is wanting domestic products to be created, right? Because right now, TSMC or Taiwan Semiconductors is the biggest one of the biggest manufacturers for Nvidia, as far as them supplying the AI GPUs and whatnot. With this partnership, this does align Nvidia with what the um, the government is wanting, right? More
Yeah,
homegrown
it is.
chips, more homegrown chips. So I think that it was a lot of strategic thought that was put into this decision. for Nvidia to purchase so many shares of Intel. And if you notice, it wasn't Nvidia and Intel are purchasing a warehouse together. Nvidia bought shares of Intel's stock, which means it bought ownership. Okay. And that's why when Cornell mentioned we don't know if Intel is going to get, bought out. I think that this could be the beginning of something that aligns with that. Intel and Nvidia and Intel kind of doing some combined partnership to where they both become the chip makers of the US. We'll see though. Only time will tell that. But right now, what Nvidia did was buy a big stake in ownership of Intel. $5 billion worth to be exact. So yeah, that's interesting.
Man, I'm definitely looking forward to see what this partnership aligns to.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, but I know that there's one more topic that I did want to that we did want to disclose. Just Tesla, man. Tesla's been on a tear lately, right?
Yeah, yeah, and it's been a weird tear too. I know how you feel about Tesla, man, but if you look at the stock, it's been performing. And I feel like a lot of what the stock is doing is based solely on Elon Musk's decision and how he kind of controls consumer confidence in his stock, right? We know a couple months ago, Tesla, they released their robo taxi. Not their robo taxis. No, their robo taxis. I'm right. They released their robo taxis in, I believe it was Texas, and that has been talk of the town for a while. And now, um, Elon Musk positioned himself to buy shares of his own company back, and yeah, he's playing a very strategic financial game when it comes to him bringing the confidence of the consumer back to his stock, Tesla. We know that right now, Tesla is uh, the actual stock price of Tesla doesn't make the most sense, right? Given its market cap, but yeah, people are still pouring money into it. Tesla is up a decent amount of money just from the start of this year, right? We're talking, well, 12% at the start of the year, but over the last 6 months, 71% increase. So if you dive back to like March, Tesla has been on somewhat of a tear. And it's kind of insane. So when you think about Tesla as a whole, what has it been doing to warrant this increase in stock value? But go ahead, Cornell. Give your thoughts on Tesla and where you think it's gonna go. I think it was an episode not too long ago where I was like, Tesla got some stuff coming down the pipeline. It could be a solid move in the next couple months. And I
Yeah,
mean, since then, the stock value increased $100. I think that was like somewhere in July where I was talking about that.
yeah.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna start with Tesla's net profit. Tesla's net profit is 7.3%. So for every $100 they make $7, right?
Hmm.
Um, I see Tesla is actually doing better than I thought. They're making about 2 billion more than Ford a year annually, but their market cap is 20 times what Ford is.
Yeah.
So they're making about 20% more than Ford. but but they're like 2,000%. Their market cap is 2,000% more than that of Ford. So this is where the breakdown is for me. Because I do believe in consumer confidence, right? When something is, there's a high speculation of them being innovative, creating something that is going to change the world. I got that.
Hmm.
At this point, I feel like more people are investing in Elon than they are Tesla. Because yeah, Elon has some things that are gonna change the world. That seem like they're gonna change the world, like Neuralink, how they're putting chips in people's head, they're able to move like cursors. on the computer screen. We're getting more into AI. So think about being able to control things with AI capabilities. Okay, I get it. Right?
Mhm.
We got Starlink. I get it. But Tesla, I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing the confidence that puts their market cap to 20 times that of Ford when they only make 20% more in profit.
But think about how old Ford is, bro. You talking about a company that was around at least 50 years before Tesla was even a thing. And Tesla is making more money than this company. And Ford has been innovating, but it's not doing it at the rate of Tesla. So I think that we see a, would you say $2 billion more a year now?
Making 2 billion a
Right.
year, 2 billion more.
I think that number will exponentially increase as years go on and on. Because at one point, Tesla wasn't making anything close to what Ford was bringing in. Right. I
Right.
remember talking about Tesla like 2 years ago, and it made less sense for their market cap. I mean, for their stock price to be what it was, given that Tesla was not making more money than Ford in a year. Now they're making $2 billion more. And I feel like that gap is just going to continue to get bigger and bigger. Right. Because Tesla's not really slowing down. They're continuing to be more innovative. They're continuing to create new devices. And like you said, Elon Musk alone is probably a huge factor in consumer confidence and why people keep putting money into Tesla, right? It's not like Tesla is saying, well, we got electric trucks, electric cars, that's it. We're just gonna keep coming out with new models of that. They're constantly changing the game and making improvements. And I think that is what's gonna make their consumers feel. I mean, that's why I think consumers are so confident in Tesla because it's not a dying company. It's continuing to innovate. It's continuing to make technological changes and take advantage of things like AI. Um, Not to mention, it was one of the first ones to do the electric vehicle, and then everyone else followed. Right? Ford followed, Hyundai, BMW. They created electric cars after Tesla, and they was around decades before.
But the
You know,
pioneers are usually the ones that don't end up with the best product. They put
Ford is the
all this money.
pioneers, bro. Ford is the
Oh,
pioneer.
Ford is the pioneer.
Yeah,
That's what you're
Tesla is
talking
the
about.
innovator.
Okay.
Yeah, because cars were around, right? Tesla was just
No,
like we.
I'm talking about EV.
Oh well, I think EV is just a change on cars. I don't think. Yes, Tesla is a pioneer in its own way, but it made something that was already here better. When I think pioneers, like the creators of the item, nigga, that's car. Ooh, that's cars. You feel me?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
for sure.
cars, bro. So after that, it's like, how can we make cars better? And
Yeah. So I feel
Tesla
that.
made car. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. But yeah.
Yeah, and
Mm.
and then the thing is, Musk, like, because he's so like he's basically like a celebrity CEO, right? So he can just say things or
Hmm.
do things whatever he wants, and then the market just rallies. So
Yeah.
basically, he announced that he spent $1 billion on Tesla shares, and then it rallies. It's like you could really do it. It's like he could just create money.
Yeah. That part too. I think one of the things that was hitting and hurting Tesla a lot was his involvement in politics. Him trying to get so close to Donald Trump. And I think he did that because he was hoping that Donald Trump would change his mind about EVs. He didn't. Then Elon got a little hurt. And then he said, you know what, Trump? That's messed up. I was on your team. And I don't know what they talked about or what they decided on before, but Elon Musk did not like the push to still get rid of all like the EV tax credit and things like that. Then Elon Musk was talking about creating uh his own not really his own government, but Democrat, his own Republic, his own party. He was
Oh
talking about
yeah, I
creating the
forgot
party
about
for the people, and it's like,
that.
what is going on, man? So I think all of that was making Tesla. was smudging Tesla's stock. I think if he would have just kind of stayed in the lane of being CEO of his company, not being CEO of his company, plus this politician who is, on the news all the time, and because that can really, I mean, that alone has affected his stock. So now that I think he's kind of transitioned back to just being a CEO for all of his companies and working on business and innovation, we're starting to now see that that money pour back into Tesla. That's what I
Yeah,
think is happening too. Yeah.
yeah. So are you bullish or bearish on Tesla?
I'm still bullish on it, bro. I was bullish months ago. I'm still bullish on it.
Still bullish. For sure.
Yeah. I
So we're gonna
think
see where it
Tesla,
goes, man. Because
yeah.
because I know that they now they're getting more and more competition too. Like I know they got the charge stations on lock, but I'm seeing more and more EV vehicles, man. They got an
What I,
EV Mustang. They got EV like Chevy got EV. Like I'm seeing a lot of different things. Acura got EV.
yeah. I think every major car company has some EV vehicle.
Yeah.
Like every single one. But that's they're not it's not they just are using the technology to make one of their vehicles EV, but they're still primarily gasoline based companies or fossil fuels, whatever they're using to power their cars. It's not primarily electric vehicles, right? They're given the option. Tesla is all in EV.
But what's
All in.
better, having an option or being a one trick pony?
I mean, unless unless if you compare Tesla to these companies, who's making more money? You know what I'm saying?
Well, definitely make him more than Ford. I wouldn't think that Ford is the highest grossing
Oh yeah. To
um
yeah.
mainstream car company though. But yeah, when you comparing it to Ford, yes, they are making more than that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, man. I don't know. I, I guess it really just all that what really matters is how uh what happens after the Trump administration is finished. Are we going to go back to this push for electric vehicles, solar power, save the planet? Is that going to be the push? Hydrogen fuel cars? Are we, because at one point, remember, they were trying to get rid of all combustion vehicles by like 2035,
30 or something
2045,
like that.
2035, right? They were like, you got to
Something like
stop making them.
hmm
And that, I don't even think that conversation is happening anymore. You know, I'm not sure. I think
I
that,
I doubt it with Trump. He probably redacted it. Like when you know, at the beginning of his term, the first thing he did was basically do away with a lot of the things that were put in place with the previous administration. I don't.
yeah,
It was a long list of things, so of course I don't remember exactly what those things were, but that could have easily been one of them. I think I do remember reading something about EV cars. I just can't remember what it is. And then he took away the incentive. This is what put Elon Musk into a spiral. I forgot about this. He took away the incentive of buying an EV car.
right. The tax cut that you would get, it was just like, nah, get rid of it.
Yeah.
It made
So
it to where you now buying the EV car because you want to, because you think it's cool, or because you feel
'cause
inclined to do it, but it ain't gonna help
for the
you out
earth.
financially. Yeah, exactly.
But
Yeah.
then they say that the production of these cars and things of that nature aren't even good for the world.
uh,
So like I don't even know what to think
right.
about
How
that.
many layers of the onion you got to peel back to see what's
Yeah.
really good, and that makes sense because I'm
Yeah.
sure that that consumes a lot of energy to create these vehicles.
Right.
Um, but yeah.
But with all this information,
Hmm.
uh we hope that you're able to take this information and apply it to whatever trades, whatever long-term investments you're making in the upcoming months or even years. And we hope that it's very fruitful for you because keeping abreast on what's going on in the market is extremely important. It can make you a lot of money. Yeah, you could just buy mutual funds and just wait it out, but the informed investor is always going to make more than the person that just kind of, invests and keeps it moving, which is not a bad thing. But just know, knowledge is power, and it makes money.
That's it. Key here is get off the sidelines. Move forward, do something. Passive, active, don't matter. Make a move. All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all as always. And we're going to catch y'all next week.
For sure. Peace.
Peace.